One thing, if we go on to the next slide, that I felt about my experience of chemotherapy was that being an actuary was actually really helpful. So I was able to, as an actuary, focus on numbers and facts as a way of sort of escaping emotions a little bit, I think. So this is a graph that one of the breast care nurses drew for me in my chemo education session, showing what my cell counts would likely be like throughout each 3-week cycle. So she estimated, based on the average person, that by about day 7 to 10, I would probably be feeling my worst based on what my cells were doing. And then I would gradually pick up again by the end of each 3-week cycle, ready to be struck down again by another wave of chemotherapy drugs. And for me, being able to focus on numbers and statistics like this just made my experience that little bit more bearable and a little bit more interesting. And I think it did that by giving me a way to emotionally detach from the experience. And that was my coping mechanism. And throughout this period, I tracked my stats with my Oura Ring, but I also kept a diary just to keep track of what my energy levels were like on different days and side effects that I was experiencing. So, Matt, what did my Oura Ring and diary have to say about the impact of chemo on my body?
Well, Amanda was very diligent about monitoring her energy score from day to day. You can see there that we have this sawtooth pattern. So for each new chemo round, which is a different colour, you can see the energy levels. They kind of they dive and then they gradually come back, only to be replaced by another round of chemo. So it's almost exactly the same as what the nurse explained to Amanda. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that sort of sawtooth pattern there. And when we look at the Oura Ring data, the sleep efficiency, we also see same sort of thing. That sawtooth pattern, sleep efficiency is dropping at the initial phases of chemo, and then it climbs back up, and you can see that, big impact on sleep efficiency there. So certainly doesn't look very pleasant.
It wasn't.
No. And then in terms of when we look at the timeline, so the green, you've got the chemo period there, the chemo treatment period there on the green, and you can see sleep efficiency there has really taken a dive by about 10% on average during the chemo phase, and deep sleep as well. Deep sleep has dropped. It was already dropping even pre-diagnosis, and it's dropped again, the average, by quite a lot, but about sort of 10% on average. So you can see the chemo's had a big impact on sleep, and that's very much to be expected in terms of the impact of the drugs themselves. There's obviously increased anxiety, there is pain and discomfort, and hormone changes, which all would impact your deep sleep. Also looked at average resting heart rate, and weirdly that had dropped during the pre-diagnosis phase, and that's really risen considerably during the treatment phase. Activity burn actually isn't that much changed. It's sort of a little bit, it's sort of very similar, but the average resting heart rate has gone right up, and that's due to the impact there of the chemo.